Colorectal cancer is the second most common cause of cancer deaths in both men and women, according to the American Cancer Society.
And this year, more than 106,000 new cases of colon cancer have been diagnosed, and 46,000 new cases of rectal cancer have been diagnosed. 1/3 of those people will not survive. That's why it's so important to get a colonoscopy if you're 45 years old.
KTIV teamed up with CNOS to try and bust some of the myths about this very important step in your healthcare journey. With that in mind, CNOS CEO Nolan Lubarsky and I recently got our first colonoscopies, and KTIV's cameras followed us every step of the way.
My grandma had a history of colon cancer.
And it's that family history that pushed Nolan Lubarsky to get a colonoscopy just weeks after he turned 45. And at 51, I was overdue. The prep starts the day before your colonoscopy by mixing up a prescribed powdered laxative that you drink over several hours.
A little bit of a hack that I learned from one of the docs is that supposedly if you use a straw, the flavor of the solution or of the prep tastes a little bit better. You know, really not bad actually. You know, to be honest with you, I was expecting it to be tasting a whole lot worse, and it really didn't. It actually tasted like lemonade.
Not bad, lemon lime. It's a little sweet, but not as bad as some people make it out to be, so you have nothing to fear. One piece of advice: don't be too far from the bathroom. You're going to spend some time in the bathroom, maybe an hour or more at a time. Get a good book, make sure you have your cell phone charger, you're going to be just fine. 12 hours and at least that many trips to the bathroom later. Morning. It was time to check in at Mercy One for the colonoscopy. I was nervous. I hadn't been under general anesthetic since I had my tonsils out. That was when I was 16. I'm 51, so just the number of unknowns scared me a little bit. Shortly after 7 a.m., I was wheeled into the procedure room and put to sleep. Gastroenterologist Dr. Jeff Michalak reassured me there was nothing to be nervous about. And before I knew it, so I could see him pushing the propofol into my IV. He got about halfway through the syringe. My eyes sort of crossed a little bit, and that was it. I was asleep. As I slept,
so there's the appendiceal orifice. That's where the colon starts.
Dr. Michalak used a small camera to inspect my colon for any irregularities. And he found one. Two, actually.
Transverse colon polyp. Yep.
2 polyps, which Dr. Michalak removed so they could get tested. Within 20 minutes, I was wheeled back to my room to recover. It was very quick from the time that I remember waking up till the time I was dismissed. It was less than an hour, and I felt ready to go. Next was Nolan's colonoscopy.
All right, have a good nap, Nolan.
Thank you.
All right, tell us when you're asleep.
Done by gastroenterologist Dr. Alexander Sarkeesian.
The last thing I remember is telling them to turn over on my side, and I can't remember if I did it or not.
Remember, Nolan has a family history of colon cancer, which is why he wanted a colonoscopy as soon as he turned 45.
Our physicians at CNOS have done such a great job kind of prepping what it was supposed to be like and all about, so I think everything that they said really came to fruition, so didn't really have any nerves or anything like that.
So far, so good. Everything would be rated excellent so far.
Nolan got a clean bill of health, no polyps, and no need for another colonoscopy for 10 years.
I think what I learned about myself is that, you know, the stigma that's associated with a lot of these things, especially a colonoscopy, I've learned that it really is all about empowering yourself to take care of yourself.
Taking steps now to prevent something much more serious later in life. Now, because they found 2 polyps in my colon, I'll have another colonoscopy in 5 years, not the typical 10 years. Those polyps were sent to the lab for analysis. Tomorrow night on News 4 at 6, I'll sit down with my doctor to go over the results and any treatment that I might need going forward.
And also tomorrow night, KTIV's colonoscopy special. 3 gastroenterologists from CNOS will be live on our set for a half hour answering questions about colon cancer and colonoscopies. So make sure and send your questions to connect@ktiv.com. Colonoscopy Conversation and Care. The plan, the prep, the procedure tomorrow night at 6:30 p.m. Watch it on KTIV or KTIV online at ktiv.com and our Facebook page.